Hey ladies, and welcome into Becoming a Woman of Yah, a place where each Saturday morning we spend time together talking about the qualities that we've been given as women and learn how to recognize and chisel away the habits, attitudes, and actions that don't belong, replacing them with the qualities of a woman that strives to be all she was created to be. My name is Evie Zamora, and I'm a certified women's life coach and women's program director for Teshuva Outreach. My plan each week is to take a piece of the puzzle of all the aspects of a woman's life and work out the details of how it's been designed to fit properly into our lifestyle and present-day culture. Here at Teshuva Outreach, we believe that it is important to address the baggage in our lives before we're able to fully serve our Creator to our fullest capacity. It's equally critical to discover your role in every problem that you face, whatever case it may be. We also believe that there's a certain amount of each building block that we teach in ultimate victory over our past and a change for forward-thinking and harmonious relationships. If you're ready to plant the seeds of the fruit you've been given, and you're looking for a place to grow in your walk with the Father, give us a try. I think you may have stumbled onto fertile ground and a good place to be. Think of us as your community garden. We provide your plot of ground that is rich with His Word, and we provide the tools you'll need to get rid of the weeds and rocks and prepare the soil for planting. You bring your own seeds, the one He's given you to plant. Our job is to help enrich and fertilize your area with His Word and encourage you to dig deeply to prepare for planting. We'll be there to help by encouraging you, helping you sort and recognize the difference between pesky bugs that are there to destroy you and your plants and the ones that help them stay safe and grow. Sometimes it takes a knowledgeable, trustworthy person to help us recognize the difference, and someone that knows how to handle the situations. Those are the ones to learn from, and that's who we hope to be in your life. So when you plant, the chances increase that the fruit of your labor is good. Our agenda is right out front, nothing hidden. We want to help you clear out that old baggage, put it in its proper place so that you can be in a place to grow. Imagine trying to plant a garden filled with old car parts, rocks, and tons of weeds, maybe even some concrete areas here and there. Your garden doesn't have to be perfect, but clean, clear, and you must continuously hand pull the weeds out daily to ensure that you're in the best place to hear His voice clearly. I'll finish this visual with the end result. Let's suppose that we clear the land, we prepared the soil, we've planted the seeds, and the growth we expected came. It was amazing, and we kept encouraging and teaching, but left the fruit of our labor where it was. If we do not pick and eat, it will rot and spoil where it is, as it ripens or it falls to the ground. We're the same way in our walk with the Almighty. To stay in one place and be fed forever is like having no plan at all. We were built to do something. The grooming process is meant to prepare us for His work. Even in the world, we don't go to school forever. Well, most of us don't. We graduate to do what we've learned. We finish, we celebrate, and hopefully, most of us move on. That is His plan. He's the one that came up with the idea. Even Yeshua modeled the behavior. You submit to a teacher, a good one. You immerse yourself. You learn as much as you possibly can, as quickly as you can, so you can go out and do. And that's where most people get lost, if they decide to follow His plan. This is the way I see it. 2 places, 2 mistakes. They jump into plant before they clear the field, and once they're trained and ready, they sit down and continue to eat and get fatter until they're either too comfortable or too miserable to move. So they stay where they are and do nothing. Okay, maybe they become a greeter or prepare coffee at their church or synagogue. And not saying that that's not a good job to do when you're first getting started. However, are you teaching in the pulpit when you're needed? Are you starting a sustainable ministry that can multiply others to do the same elsewhere? Putting programs together to train the men and women of your congregation in-house. So I think you know where I'm going with this way of thinking. Why should the storehouse ever be so full that we have to build more and more storehouses when the idea has always been to train and send, not to settle and sit? The storehouse is for food, not souls. We need food in the storehouse to feed hungry souls, meaning rich foods and words to nourish our unequipped selves to become equipped for service. If we have leaders that are doing their job to equip souls for service, then it should be more like a revolving door than a storage unit. Hiding His word in our hearts is for our protection when we're out in the world. If given the opportunity, and there is opportunity, we must have that word on our lips, in our hands, written on the doorposts, in our hearts, and constantly training our children, our communities, and our world in whatever way He has planned for you. Whew. Now, if you're ready, let's get back on the path and begin to address our walk. If you remember last week in part 1 of Clearing the Path to Righteousness, we talked about discovering sin in our lives and what to do about it. I started my personal story that dealt with a very personal issue with my grandchildren that led me to a place where I knew I needed Him, and He'll do that for you if you're willing to go. A place where we can't handle it on our own. I used to have a children's puppet ministry, and we used to perform that song by Toby Mac that pretty much says it all for me. If you're curious, go to our website and check it out. My puppets are still around, by the way, and will hopefully make their debut here at Teshuva Outreach soon. Last week, I began sharing a story about being given the ultimate test. I was given this test to see if I would choose wisely, knowing how hard it could get and how long it may take. My realization of what I hadn't done was the first step. Taking everyone else out of the picture, did I see my wrong, or would I continue to feel and act blameless for what had happened? My daughter-in-law had removed my grandchildren from my life, and I had caved into a spiraling down to years of daily crying and begging for God to save me from this pain, while I continued to avoid the obvious and claim complete innocence to all accusations of disrespect by overstepping parental authority to parent my grandchildren with my own discretion. I believed, because I loved my children and grandchildren sincerely, that anything I had done was out of love and therefore okay in my eyes. What I didn't see clearly was the simple fact that the choices I had made for my children, both good and bad and all the mistakes in between, were mine to make, but not the same with my grandchildren. It wasn't my decision that mattered the most now, no matter how helpful it seemed to me. That's a hard place to be. Sometimes it's more about what we failed to see and do than what we did. And this is where I'd like for you to join with me and take the opportunity to do some self-examination. Grab your notebook and anywhere on a blank page, write down a name that refers to a time that you've had your integrity questioned or a standoff about something you did and it caused a parting of ways with a friend or family member. Now write your name on the page, anywhere. Also, you need to write the word God or Yahweh anywhere. Right now, they should look like they're floating, but let's try to put it into perspective. In the situation that your story pertains to, between yourself and another person, what do you believe to be right? I'm sorry. Who do you believe to be right? And circle around that name. Draw one arrow from your circle to the person's name, and draw another arrow from you to God. Think of everyone you told the story to and that agreed with you that you had done nothing wrong. Draw them somewhere on the page as well. Then your pastor or rabbi's name, and continue to draw arrows from your circle to them. Now turn the page, and on another blank sheet of paper, draw a circle in the middle. Make it a pretty big circle right in the middle of the page, and write God or Yahweh in the circle. Now draw arrows out from that circle. And at the end of the arrows, write the names of people, places, and things in your life. Label all of the people you told your story to. The things maybe that you did to fix the problem can be part of the things. Now, where are you in this mix? I have an idea. Draw a box in one of the corners, the top of the right, top of the left, bottom of the right, or bottom of the left, and put me in it. Capital M, capital E. Don't be afraid of the box. I know being put in a box and all of that. This is for your protection. This is not the story of the frog in the pot. Think about it like your car, and it means safety when you're out driving on the interstate. Now, draw a line from me to Yahweh. On the line, draw several marks, kind of like making little crosses or plot points along the way between me and God. These are the milestones that we'll chart as we're on our journey, getting closer and closer to Him. I don't know if you've ever gone on a road trip, but they're lots of fun. And I want you to think about that story, whatever it is, the time that you had the best time ever with your friends or a family or family members, and you went on a road trip. And the fun was going from place to place as the excitement built to get to your destination. It was fun along the way, though, and you learned a lot. It was not without problems, however. Yah forbid that you had a flat tire on the way or the engine started smoking, but those are possibilities. Hopefully, you've picked just the right people to go on this type of road trip because they come up with great ideas, they brainstorm. It all works out in the end, and you have a wonderful trip, and you get there safely, and you get to your destination, you have a great time. As we continue, eventually, if you do the work necessary, these milestone markers will take you right up next to the Father, where there's not even a tiny crack between you, so that everything goes through Him before it gets to anyone or anything else. It takes work, and you don't get there overnight. But the drawing, as you're looking at it, will tell you that if you are right up next to Him and you've come along the way learning, getting closer and closer and closer, that everything you say and everything you do goes through Him before it goes out to your rabbi or pastor, your church friends, your family members, your work friends, the other children that you have, your neighbors, your acquaintances, your teachers, your peers, everyone, even the person that hurt you before. Please don't get discouraged. It sometimes is a little bit discouraging, but there is fun, there is happiness, there's love, and lots of good things on the way. But depending on how much work needs to be done, that will determine how much time we have to spend on these other things. And because we have free will, there are even more variables to consider. Do we want to finish our race in this lifetime, or are we planning for others after us? Or are you hoping to get your act together to be used by Him with the gifts and talents He's given to you? Here's the third question, and that's the hardest for me. If it will take me a year, as I've plotted this course and I know the things that have to be done and the necessary steps I have to go through, and I procrastinate or let other things get in the way, because they will, and it takes 2 to 3 years, can and will I endure? We need to run at this thing, whatever it takes, like David when he ran toward Goliath. I don't believe there was hesitation. The only question he asked was, what is the prize? He didn't stop to ask everybody what they thought and question whether he was right or good enough or strong enough, and I don't know, maybe pick some flowers on the way. No, he did not. According to the story, once he decided what he was going to do, he prepared by picking up a stone, putting it in the sling without hesitation, and did the job. I picture him running while he was preparing to throw it at the giant. I remember in my youth, which was a long time ago, the youth group I was in at church, and having that illustrated by my youth minister. And it changed something inside of me. David didn't stand in one place, fearful of the outcome. The difference in size of him and a giant was pretty significant, but that didn't seem to be his concern. He ran toward the giant like he was running through him to over-anticipate his action, to make sure he hit the mark. Can we do that? Can we alienate the things of our past that act as stumbling blocks to our future? Now, I'm not talking about getting rid of the person that hurt you. I'm talking about the pain of your problem. That's the thing we'll be addressing. Hopefully, you're getting the picture in your mind, and we're going to end here. It's a lot. If you stay with me, I'll walk you through the steps I've learned to heal, to rejuvenate, and to prepare you to walk your path, clearing the brush as we go. That's a lot to think about, but I'll be here if you have questions. Shoot me a text on WhatsApp or email me or set up an intro call appointment. It's not like a complete coaching session, but it may be just what you need in the moment. There's no charge for any of this. During this part, it's a resource for your goal, my friends. Let's pray. Father, thank you for giving me the gifts and talents you've provided. I realize that it's from the ashes of my selfishness and mistakes I've made that once I came to you with all the rubble and mess I had made, you were able to use the scraps and create something beautiful in my life. I pray, Abba, that the women that are listening to my voice see the potential that they have to succeed as your prized possession, and that they too can become a woman of Yah. Give us the courage and strength we'll need to take this challenge and clear the path to righteousness for your name's sake, and the lives that will be given as influencers to help in their journeys to purpose. We ask these things in the mighty name of our Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach. Amen. Amen. Thank you for being here with me today. Have a wonderfully blessed day, everyone, and an amazing Shabbat service if you're part of the Messianic camps, as we continue to pray today for the leaders of those groups. If Yah so wills, see you next week, ladies.